The kids that go to UConn now, I mean, the pressure that they're walking into is insane.
Yeah.
If you don't win a national championship, it was a bust of a season.
Completely.
And then even if you did, it's like, but did you go undefeated? Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Once again, we are starting this week's show on a somber note as the crisis in Minneapolis continues. Another American, Alex Pretti, was killed by ICE agents while he was videotaping them. We've seen a lot of people speak out. Alex Pretti's family did a statement. We saw in the sports community, many people speak out. The Minnesota Timberwolves postpone their game. But even more so, we've seen people in the women's sports community. And that's something that we wanted to touch on, whether it's Breanna Stewart holding up an abolish ICE sign. Unrivaled took a moment of silence. Paige Bueckers has donated some of her prize money in a match situation. She'll match the money to her hometown, Hopkins in Minnesota. And then, of course, we saw Cheryl Reeve on the ground and the Minnesota Lynx players. Nafisa Collier, Natisha Heidemann, they have been posting about what's been happening. It's also tragic. We, of course, want to send out our condolences to really everybody impacted. It's just so sad. But like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about women's sports, that community, and the impact that they have. So, Megan, anything you want to add there?
Oh, I mean, too, that's just a horrible, horrible tragedy. Made worse by the fact that this could have been avoided, made even worse by the fact that this is not surprising based on the tactics that ICE and Homeland Security and the administration has been deploying in Minnesota. Alex was doing nothing wrong. Not that we need to state all of these things. It's legal to film ICE agents, and that's what he was doing, which is becoming, sadly, increasingly necessary. With the lies that were being told. But he was an ICU nurse for the VA. He spent his life protecting people and lost his life protecting someone. It was just so sad. And I think obviously on the back of Renee Good to just have this in quick succession was chilling, really. Really chilling. Obviously, we've seen the video, and there's a bunch of videos, and you can see it from every angle, and it's just horrific. I think for me, I feel this. I'm sure other people feel it. This sort of draw towards despair or hopelessness. It's really overwhelming. There's a lot going on. It's just horrific to see, and I think there's kind of a natural tendency, but I think there's also, I was kind of hearing on social media and seeing on social media and just in general, oh, we're cooked. We're done. We're cooked. It's over. And I don't remember exactly who said this, so forgive me, whoever put this out there first. I couldn't go back and find it, but let's get that out of our mouth and our head and our soul. We are not cooked. We are not done. There's so much that we can do. I mean, Sue, we both have, albeit in a lesser manner, personal experience with being told lies that we can see with our own eyes. Having been told something was impossible our entire career, basically being told our entire career was impossible. Obviously for me, the biggest one was equal pay. We're told flat out that so many times from so many different people that it just wasn't going to happen. Y'all don't have the market demand. Your fight was meaningless. Your opponent's too big. You don't deserve it. That's just never going to happen. And I feel like we never let that sink in. We never let that shit in our psyche. And I think that's what I, want to say today is their lies are always a tell. It's always the thing that they fear the most, because we did deserve equal pay. And we had the market value to back it up. And we do deserve a society and a country that takes care of each other. And I think most importantly, especially for us right now, and we're seeing it with the people in Minnesota, and we've seen it time and time again, that the people are more powerful than any government ever could be. And so I just encourage us all to stand together in this time. and to, rest when you need to, but also there's a million things that everybody can do. And I know this is a little bit of a trivial one compared to what's happening in Minnesota, but I just want to draw the line. I think it's important nonetheless, is that, and we're going to talk about this in the show, this week we're seeing Trinity Rodman sign the biggest deal that we've ever seen in the history of the NWSL, and maybe one of the biggest deals. And I can't emphasize enough how impossible that felt to me. Like, I see those numbers and I'm like, that's just insane in a way, but that's how far we've come. And, all of us sticking together and not taking those lies for an answer. So to everybody who's kind of feeling, like they can't do anything because you aren't famous, or you don't live in Minnesota, or you don't have a huge platform. Like, we're all a part of this fight. We all have something that we can do. There's people organizing everywhere, every single day. We're going to put some resources up, but no matter how big or small your contribution is, it matters. There's a million different fights that we need to have, and every single one of them matters. So solve one problem at a time, one day at a time. Stay together, find your thing, get your community, and just keep it going. But that's kind of what I wanted to say on the matter. So I want to hear more of what you got to say too.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I think the point is, what women's sports can show you and teach you is you can change a public narrative based on your own eyeballs, based on your own experience. That's what you can learn from women's sports. That's our experience. We knew something was happening. We talked about it. With that does come a pretty hefty amount of fatigue.
Yeah.
That's also a big part of using your voice, trying to show people something they might not see. They're not always going to be embracing it. And so with that does come a fatigue. But again, you have to fight through that. And I think ways to do that are to start small, not necessarily start big. Don't try to stress yourself out with trying to literally change the world. You have to do this in really small ways. And one thing I wanted to highlight is the Senate is going to be voting this week on whether to continue funding ICE through September. So this is a perfect time to do something small in nature of like the actual act of picking up a phone and making the call, but huge in terms of its impact. And that's to call your senators. We're going to put a link in the show notes. I've mentioned Sharon McMahon. Her Instagram is Sharon Says So. So the link in our show notes will take you to her website. She makes it super easy to put in your state. You can find out, which senators to call, and you can get going. But back to the women's sports of it all, something else we've talked about, I believe when we had Jamel Hill on, this idea that as women's sports starts to grow and get as big as what we see in men's sports, will they stop using their voice? Will they stop? Will there be too much risk now that there's more financial risk? And I think we just answered that question. I think women and women's sports has answered that question over the course of the last week. If anything, they're realizing their platform is now bigger. Stewie posted that or held up that sign. I saw that on my social media way more than I think we ever would have seen
everywhere.
It 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It went everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing because, what we're trying to get at here, again, is that you can change narratives. You can have impact. Women's sports is proof of that. And what we're getting to is it can be done in any way possible, from big to small, however you want to frame that. The only other thing I want to say is I don't know if everyone follows like Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway, Pivot. I mean, they've been having, albeit in totally different ways, really a lot of impact on me and kind of, just kind of getting me to see different things in different ways. And Jon Stewart obviously does it in a more comedic way, but
it's bangers.
Yeah. He said one thing that I just want to share because I think it's so important. We all saw what happened, and we're being told that what we saw with our own eyeballs isn't what happened. And his point was, they're lying to you about something you saw, something you see. Imagine what they're lying to you about when it's things you can't see, things happening behind closed doors, but yet they come out and they give, whatever speech or tweet, whatever it is. Imagine the things that they're lying about that you can't see. And that really hit. I mean, I've always known it deep down, but man, you're trying to tell me my eyeballs are lying to me? Don't do that. And you shouldn't let anybody do that. And then what Kara Swisher had to say was like, do they forget we have phones? Are they forgetting that people have phones are going to video? But it's such a good point. It's such a good point. And that's why people, you mentioned it already, have to continue to show up and video this stuff.
They are not
it's
forgetting.
so messed up. It's
to
so
pull
messed up.
to pull a sports analogy. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
They are honestly who they say that they are. They've been saying that this is what they're going to do the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks everybody for tuning into our little political talk there. Again, we're going to keep talking about this. And it, our hearts just go out to Alex's family. Okay. We're going to do a really awkward hard pivot here.
Always.
Hard pivot. We do have a packed show today. We got a good one. NWSL has secured Trinity Rodman via the Rodman Rule. I did see the Rodman Rule quoted.
Really?
In a New York Times article or an Athletic article.
Like they quoted us?
No, they didn't quote us, but it said colloquially known as the Rodman Rule. And I said,
when was the NWSL championship? What date?
November.
November?
Something.
That's when we said it.
Yeah. So.
And Tobin Heath looked at us like, no, they're not going to call it that. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Rodman
colloquially or whatever. That's what we're calling it now. The WNBA schedule is set, not the CBA, but the schedule. We're going to get into that. And it looks like the league likes the look of a little CCPB action in some of the rivalries. So I definitely want to talk about that.
Okay.
Also an eventful time always in college basketball. There remains one team undefeated. Everybody get their guesses going. We're going to talk about it later in the show. Sue, you're definitely going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about, does it even matter to be undefeated? I personally have gone undefeated. We have ties too, but that's...
I'm like, yeah, when?
Up until the championship game. We're going to talk about that later. Anyways, we're also excited to talk to Diana Flores, the captain and the quarterback. Literally, she's living Sue and I's dream for the Mexican women's flag football national team. She's got a new book called Flag Football for Dummies. It's back there somewhere behind Sue's head. We can't wait to talk to her. The sport is growing like crazy, and it's obviously going to be a debutante in the 2028 Olympics in LA. So before we go any further, for those watching on YouTube, smash those buttons, please. Take a minute to subscribe to our channel. Without further ado, I'm Megan Rapinoe.
And I'm Sue Bird. This is A Touch More. Let's get into it. All right. The check-in. First up, we are going to be talking about the Rodman Rule, now called the Rodman Deal, because she did sign, as Megan said.
There you go.
Go ahead, Megan. Take it away.
Well, Trin, congratulations, first of all. Michelle, Trin, Washington Spirit, NWSL. Every contract after this for a star player. Congratulations. Use the HIP rule, which is the Rodman Rule, which is the high-impact player. She's making $2-ish million a year.
Well, did you see the part where she's the highest paid in the world, but then Amonte? How do you say it?
Aitana Beaumonti. She's
Beaumont.
got something to say about that.
She's
got something to say about that.
Beaumonti's agent has something to say about it. You know what? If that's the kind of race we're getting in women's sports, I'm here for it.
If what we're doing, I've been saying this for so long, if what we're doing is starting to publish our salaries publicly, that's what I'm here for.
You have said that for how long have we been together? Like
almost
9.5 years.
Yeah.
You've been saying that for 9.5 years.
I know.
Literally.
I know. I'm banging this drum and I will continue to bang it. But a huge congratulations. It's great for women's soccer, period. It obviously sets a new floor for star players, both on and off the field. In terms of their contract, it was the first execution of the Rodman Rule used on Trinity Rodman, which I think is just apropos,
poetic,
as they say. Obviously huge for the Spirit and keeping one of our best players in the league is great. There's still the grievances out there. There's still a lot of questions, I think, on
the criteria.
Is the criteria, but then I'm like, is the criteria off? Yes. This is only begging for another grievance from another player who doesn't fit the criteria, who's warrants this kind of money in their market demand. And then is the league just going to change the criteria when they need to change the criteria? And then is that going to trigger another grievance? So I
think the question actually is there a set of criteria that is more inclusive? Because currently where the NWSLPA is they think it favors American players, but a European player, as opposed to a Japanese player, an African player, a Brazilian player.
Yes.
So I think they can find, I don't know. You tell me. I feel like they can find something that's just inclusive of all players. Or is that too hard?
Or just get rid of the criteria. Each team has the ability to implement a Rodman contract if they want to. You don't have to. You don't have to spend that. I mean, this covers most of the best players in the world, but I think that each team should have the ability, and maybe this is what the owners don't want, because then obviously players are going to be pressuring them to dip into their Rodman bank. We're going to have like all these little like Rodman names. It's so great. But I just feel like it's just a problem that just kind of presents so many other problems.
Just call it a soft cap and you can go over it.
Yeah, it does kind of. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You don't have to. You can trigger it anytime that you want. Pay the players. Go build your roster for anyone that you want. If you want me to come back and trigger it for me, fine. We'll do it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, where are we moving?
Oh my God, my Cavs could never. Now I'm coming back and playing for Seattle.
I know, you can't even do berries.
Laura.
You struggle in berries.
I do struggle in berries. I'm always getting a calf situation in berries.
So the good news is, listen, here's the best part. In one of the articles I read, it's talking about everything we just outlined. And then it says, oh, and the, Denver team, who's now got Lindsay Heaps, they're looking to use the Rodman Rule to get her some extra money. Yeah. So the thing is, it will trickle down. And that's how a lot of sports leagues work. They're all copycat to some degree. So it just takes someone to do it first. And that person was our girl, Michelle Kang.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about Michelle's continued investment and impact and how she's like quite literally changing the landscape of women's soccer or football?
I'm asking for forgiveness.
Yeah.
And actually, she's not. Yeah. She's not asking for permission and she's not asking for forgiveness. She's like, I'm just going to do it. Yeah. I'm just doing it. And obviously, I'm just going to do it. What I like about Michelle is that, she's doing it for her team here. Mm-hmm. But I do think she has an idea. She's obviously donated a boatload of money to U.S. Soccer for referee courses and for the next generation and for research and all of the things. She has her Kineska project. She obviously has her project in Lyon with that team and also in London. But I do think she has an eye on how do we make this the best league within the U.S. and how do we make the NWSL a challenger to be the best league in the world. And then, of course, also within that, she's like, and I'm going to be the best in that. But she's putting her money where her mouth is. Like her two-piece Chanel suits are matching what's happening with her investment on the field. And I think that we need people like this who have those kinds of deep pockets, who have that kind of passion, and who care about it that much. We've had people in women's sports who have a lot of money, who don't care about that much. We've had people in women's sports, loads of them, who care beyond any measure of a doubt, who don't have enough money. And she's, one of the ones, there's a number of them in the WNBA as well, and other sports that just have the combination of wanting to be the best, innovative, not asking for permission or any sort of asking for an apology whatsoever. And I love it. We need Mavericks like this. We need people who are going to be passionate and who are going to want to drive the sport forward. Just as you need, I feel like she's matching the energy of players and how players normally go about it. One of the things I want to touch on from the press conference was the little girl that was there.
Pink braids.
Who had the pink braids, just like Trinity. This little girl is looking up to Trinity. Trinity look up to other players. There was a picture going out on social media, which was a hilarious throwback of all of us in these like equal pay shirts. But that like generational fabric is with us, the thread through all of that. And now Trinity's contract is the floor and not the ceiling. It was something we could have never imagined happening to us, or wasn't possible to happen to us in our careers. And now that's just the starting point for this next generation.
You bring up the press conference. I also want you to tell me about Trin's outfit. What'd you see? Yeah? Carla Welsh.
Carla, shout out to you, girl.
Huge claps.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It's Willie Chavarria, who's an American designer. Amazing. He also just had an amazing show in New York. Always standing on the right side of things. Willie's uses his platform in a really big way. We just were in a campaign for the ACLU, which was amazing. Fighting on behalf of the trans kids, and it was all centered around the Supreme Court cases that basically they're just trying to ban like 3 kids from playing sports. Horrible. But the outfit was great. It was like, just sort of like a deconstructed suit. She had the kind of, the long kind of, not really jorts, suit pants, shorts.
It was
a really
oversized.
Yeah, it was oversized.
vibey.
It was fun. She had a little tie on. She had kind of like her sort of signature crop.
She had her nails.
All done. Her hair was. I love the sort of theater of it all and like the drama of it all. Like you have this incredible moment, take advantage of it in every way possible. We've been talking for literally ever about the crossover in fashion, sports, culture, music, everything. And that's how it just becomes ubiquitous in society in so many different ways. So Trin is always taking advantage of every moment to pop out in a big way. I loved it. What did you think of it?
I thought it was great. Yeah, she talked about how, because somebody asked her specifically about her outfit. I remember the exact quote, but she definitely talked about how this is how I show myself, my personality. I get to be creative here. This is how I feel my best. And we all know, look good, feel good, play good, they pay good.
That's right.
Right.
She's following the classic line.
Deion Sanders.
Yeah, I know. Deion Sanders, high stepping. Yeah, so can't wait for the NWSL season. I can't wait to see who else's bank account is going to be Rodmanified before the end of this preseason. Okay, to our other favorite sport, the WNBA schedule is out. I'm excited. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
It's obviously prompting
always
some
fun
thoughts.
when the schedule comes out.
Yes. Last week's schedule is out for 2026. Even though there's not a deal done yet, it doesn't violate the status quo, everything status quo.
Business as usual.
Business as usual.
Yeah.
44 games, same as last year. 2 new teams, obviously the TT, the Toronto Tempo, and the Portland Fire are coming in. We want to dive in a little bit on what's happening on opening weekend. Dallas versus Indiana, a.k.a. Caitlin Clark, versus Paige Bueckers, a.k.a. the logo versus the bucket. You heard it here first. We make things happen on the show, like the Rodman Rule. We just talked about it. When that goes viral, I want credit. Okay?
Noted. Note the time.
Yeah, note the day and the time.
Day.
The Athletic framed this as kind of setting the tone for the season. This is going to be the season's rivalry, and the Athletic said that it replaced the Fever Sky, a.k.a. the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese. Just give me your thoughts. Do you like this being the first primetime game? We're going to get into the rest of the schedule, but do you like this sort of opening up on this weekend?
I do. I think that it, like, you zoom out, Paige Bueckers and Caitlin Clark are 2 of the best guards in the league. They have shown that. They have proven that. They're essentially the same age, 1 year apart in terms of WNBA draft day. They're going to be, hopefully, playing for a very long time against each other for a very long time. And like I said, they're 2 of the top guards. So this is what you want to see. You want to see rivalries. I think in the WNBA specifically, sadly, the term rivalry and the way it's been positioned, particularly on social media, it's gotten a negative connotation, rightfully so, because it was positioned. Caitlin and Angel, there was a lot of race involved in this conversation.
Yeah.
So the word rivalry, people didn't want to really go near it. When the truth is, at its core, it's just 2 competitors going at it. And you're seeing the best of the best. Every cliche exists here. Iron sharpening iron, like who's going to win? This is what people pull up to. It's why you tuned in to watch LeBron James play Steph Curry. In the WNBA, it's why we tuned in to watch for so long the Minnesota Lynx versus the LA Sparks, right? Or more recently, it was the Liberty versus the Aces, so on and so forth. Like you want to see rivalries. So I have no problem. I thought Paige addressed this perfectly when she went on Kylie Kelsey's podcast and was just like, we like each other. We're friends. Like,
no,
and you
stir
can
it up, Paige.
Yeah, like, and you can be competitive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's me and Diana.
Yeah.
I mean, the Seattle Storm and the Phoenix Mercury, I would definitely say we were rivals. We met in the playoffs a ton of times. And it was actually our friendship that made the rivalry like even better. I bet people tuned tuned in, even more so because they knew we were such good friends. So rivalry doesn't have to have this negative connotation. I don't think that's what it means here. I understand why it has meant that in the past. Again, rightfully so. But I do think this is what drives leagues. It's what drives conversation around leagues. It's what builds stakes. And that's what makes sports go. Yeah. So I'm all for it. I think there's a lot of great games that are going to come up in the schedule. I have to admit, as a player, when the schedule came out, 2 things I looked for. When are we playing New York? And how many back-to-backs do we have? Yeah. When am I going home? And how many times am I going to have to wake up at 6 a.m. on a game day?
Yeah.
So the things that stuck out are, obviously the Aces are going to get their rings. So that's always a special moment. Another thing that the WNBA did was they've got the LA Sparks playing the New York Liberty on June 21st, which is the exact day they played each other 29 years ago when this whole thing started.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't.
You didn't know that?
I'm right now years old finding this out.
Really?
Breaking news, everybody.
They should bring, you know what they should do? They should bring out the 2 people that tipped off the game 1, bring them back out and let them do the commemorative tip off. Heard it here first.
I love it.
Heard it here first. That's what they should do.
League marketing, hit us up.
So that's just I love it. A nod.
I love it. It's going to be great storytelling around that.
To who started it, a nod to where we are now. I love it. Of course, Toronto and Portland will get their debuts. So that's also kind of exciting part of the schedule.
Going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, my twin sister has season tickets to the Portland Fire, and them and their fam are pumped. Pumped.
Yeah, so that's kind of what jumped out.
Yeah. I think, just in terms of rivalry, I just want to say this one thing. I think that the league has, and the broadcast partners have I'm going to use this wrong, but fiduciary duty to just turn the screw on the narratives for the rivalries. I love it.
On the on-court basketball
the
stuff.
On-court basketball stuff.
Yeah.
I want to see, they need to go back in the archive from last year. Every single moment someone jawed at someone else and make it a rivalry game.
So just have Marina Mabrey and Courtney Williams playing one-on-one the whole season?
That's what I want. I want those teams to play. No, but really, it's helpful for the fans. Is what everybody wants to see. It's easy to storytell around for everybody. I love it. Okay, another thing happening within the season, is the Commissioner Cup.
Right.
Happening for the 6th year. So give us just a little primer again for people if you're not familiar with the Commissioner's Cup. And why does it matter? Why does it matter to the league? Why does it matter to the players? And why does it matter to the media partners? And why should it matter to the fans?
So the Commissioner's Cup is basically just a tournament within the season, right? So there's no extra games. It's just the first
designated.
Yeah, there's designated Commissioner Cup games. So even though the WNBA does do a balanced schedule, and at the end you're just seeded I guess now 1 through 15. Mm-hmm. There's no East and West in terms of the actual playoff seedings. It does still exist. There still is an Eastern and a Western Conference, and it's for the Commissioner Cup mainly. So you'll play a game against all your Eastern Conference opponents for East Coast teams. You'll play all the Western Conference for the West Coast teams. And the 2 teams, one from the East, one from the West, with the best record at the end, play each other in the Commissioner Cup. Okay. So it's really just a way of, first of all, you don't add extra games. But it really is just a way to, again, build something, a platform, a stage that has stakes. Mm-hmm. There's money on these games. So the winner takes home a ton of money. You can get sponsors involved.
The players care because there's money.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And I hate to say it this way.
The league cares because it's sponsorships.
Yeah, and it's stakes. So it gets fans excited. People get into it.
Drive interest.
I hate that I have to say it this way. I know you're going to hate that I'm saying it this way. But here we are. It's just like the NBA Cup, which everybody seems to know when the Commissioner Cup has actually existed longer, a year or 2 before the NBA Cup was introduced. The NBA's in-season tournament, our in-season tournament, the Commissioner Cup, had already existed. So this has been happening. Those are the reasons to get behind it, be excited about it. These are the reasons the players are super hype.
Yeah.
I remember 2021 was the first year it was introduced. And pretty quickly, our team, for whatever reason, we were hip to it. We were hey guys, this is a Commissioner Cup game. Hey guys, anytime it was, we were very aware.
The other part of it is driving that train.
Yeah. Shrug. The other part of it is it can come down to like a point differentiation.
Yeah.
If you finish with the same record at the time, that's definitely how it played out. So we were like even aware against some teams, because in basketball, especially in US basketball, if you're up 10, and there's 30 seconds and you have the ball, you dribble it out. But in these Commissioner Cup games, no, you're trying to score.
Yeah.
Because points might matter. And we actually had a team get mad at us for doing it.
It's fun.
But it speaks to my larger point, which was in year one, we took this thing seriously. I don't think a lot of teams really did until like halfway through, and then it was too late. And we went on to win. So we're the inaugural winners of the Commissioner Cup.
And you got a big fat check.
Got a big fat check. So did my teammates.
No, I mean, listen, and for the fans watching, I'm like, as a fan now, a full-time fan, put stakes on anything, like I'm pulling up. Like I haven't watched literally one football game all year long. And then I've watched the last 2 Seahawks games and I'm like fully invested. I'm like, let's go, boys. You guys are doing great. Like you're winning.
Seahawks
it's so much.
Are doing great.
I'm like, I just want to see, it's like I could watch like kids play in a semifinal game and I'm just like locked in. It's so much fun to just pull up and watch. And I think this just kind of like it's almost like a little, just like a mid-season snack, if you will, for the fans.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Well, I think what I like about it, but I could also literally take the other side, is you're seeing which team is at its best at a different part of the season, right? The playoffs, we always hear like, oh, they peaked at the right time. They pulled it together for the playoffs, or we just want to make sure we're playing well in the playoffs, right? It gives you like a full season to get there. But this actually is like, well, who's good at the start? Who's good at the start? I could also, again, argue that that's annoying.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's who's healthy at the start.
Exactly. There's a lot of variables. There's actually only been one team, the Las Vegas Aces in 2022, that won the Commissioner Cup and then went on to win the whole thing. So it is just like, a different look. Yeah. So that's why I like it.
I like it. A lot to look forward to in the W season.
Indeed.
All right. Moving on to the babies. Season's happening right now, college basketball. There is one undefeated team left.
There were 2.
And now
there's
one. Big loss by Vanderbilt at the hands of South Carolina.
Tough loss,
Yeah.
South Carolina's good.
South Carolina was not going to lose 2 in a row.
No.
Definitely not. UConn is the last undefeated team. So where are we at?
They're the last undefeated team.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I think I said it on the pod a couple weeks ago that the odds were in their favor to go undefeated and win the whole thing. And really what I meant by that is once they got to conference play, at that point, they still had Notre Dame to play. And they actually do play Tennessee coming up here soon. So that's another non-conference opponent. But after that, it's all Big East play. And, the Big East is the Big East. UConn dominates the Big East, generally speaking. So
no shade. It's bad. If they lost, it's going to be crazy.
It would be a big deal. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No shade. Big East.
So yeah. So really what I was saying when I said, I think they're going to go undefeated and win the whole thing. I do think that they're right now the best team in college basketball. It's not to say they're going to, if they play the South Carolinas and the LSUs, obviously those are games that have to be played. But you could just see when you looked at their schedule that they had probably like 2 challenges left in Notre Dame and then what's to be Tennessee. And then it was all conference play until they get to the NCAA tournament. So if you think they're going to get to at least the Elite 8 or Final 4, like they're going to be undefeated by those points. They just are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I see it.
There's only been 10 undefeated teams ever.
Yeah.
Is it like South Carolina twice and then UConn the rest? I feel like Stewie never lost a game in her.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, Stewie I think only went undefeated
6 times.
Like once or twice maybe.
UConn's done it the most, 6 times. What's the...
South Carolina's done it most recently. They did it a couple of years ago. That was their one time doing it.
Yeah.
Texas did it first. Tennessee has done it. Baylor has done it. UConn obviously has done it. I think that's it.
Okay, I want you to just talk to the pressure of it all. Being at UConn, knowing it's been done before. Obviously, then you have the individual season. These players are trying to do something for themselves for the first time.
So I think if you're at a school where you're doing it for the first time, the pressure doesn't really kick in, I'll argue, likely, till the end. So you're not thinking about undefeated seasons in month 1, month 2, month 3. But then all of a sudden, maybe you're entering the conference tournament. Now you're like, oh God, like, we're undefeated. Like, we better keep this going. I think when that voice starts to get into people's heads, that's when the pressure kicks up. Now, if you've gone to a school where they've done it, and that was my experience, along with the other schools I just mentioned now, there's a different kind of pressure. Because now it's like, if you win a national championship, don't get me wrong, it's amazing. We won my sophomore year. We lost one game. But it was always like, well, the 95 team went undefeated.
The levels to your guys' stuff make it almost impossible to feel good about your career there no matter what you did.
I say it all the time. The kids that go to UConn now, I mean, the pressure that they're walking into is insane.
Yeah.
If you don't win a national championship, it was a bust of a season.
Completely.
And then even if you did, it's like, but did you go undefeated?
I know.
I'm like blown away by it.
Were you National Player of the Year?
Yeah.
Were you an All-American? Were you Tournament Player of the Year?
I've said this so many times. You walk into the practice facility, and yes, it has all the national championship banners. It's amazing. But it also has banners for players that denote different achievements, individual achievements, right? So there's National Player of the Year. There's being an All-American. There's being an Olympian. And it's the one place where, you know, I was a 2-time champion. I was National Player of the Year once, and I was an All-American once my senior year. So I was an All-American freshman, sophomore, junior year. And, you know, I'm up there, and it's got the years. So for me, it just says like 2002 underneath it. For Stewie, for Svetlana Abrasimova, for Diana, for Maya, for these other great players who were All-Americans like 2, 3, 4 times, they have their dates just like it's just late. And I'm like, man, it's the one place, 2-time national champion, Player of the Year, All-American, and I look like a bum up there.
You guys,
I look like a bum. I'm like, thank God for the Olympics.
The coding system is wild.
I know,
it's like
it's
trying to
color-coded.
get a nuclear bomb out of a library.
I think,
Like,
it's trying to detonate.
It's color-coded. It's year-coded.
Do you put the blue with the red or the white? Which one do I
it's
cut?
like, is it here or is it up here? If it's up here with these other players, is what this means, is what this means. It's like crazy.
It's funny.
Yeah, there's some wild levels to that.
Yeah.
But,
So
okay,
to
these
answer your
players are
question,
feeling pressure.
But it's a good pressure. You
They
don't
seem to be
really
loving
feel
it.
it until later. I think at UConn, because it's been done so many times, it's the expectation. So it's a pressure you're actually living every day. And you know how it is when you have something that you're living every day, it kind of loses its, its power.
Mm-hmm.
There's not as much heat around it. So I'd argue it's fueling them more than anything. And this group never has done it. They've never gone undefeated. They've won. They won last year, but they haven't gone undefeated.
All right, well.
And they beat back-to-back. That's like another level. Like, oh, but did you go back-to-back? I didn't go back-to-back.
That's what I'm saying, you guys. It's like trying to find a book in the library.
I know.
It's nuts.
I know.
Yeah. Well, we'll be watching this space for sure. All the luck to Sister Feaster, my favorite, and the rest of the team, of course. It's time to get to our guest. I'm really excited for this one. Our next guest is going to teach us about one of the fastest growing sports in the country, flag football. Diana Flores is the captain and quarterback of Mexico's women flag football national team, which has won 4 world championships since 2017. But that's just the beginning. She's also the NFL's global ambassador for flag football. She was named one of Glamour magazine's Mexico and Latin American Women of the Year in 2025. And she just wrote a book called Flag Football for Dummies. Me. She's on a mission to bring flag football to the people, and we can't wait to hear all about her big plans. Please welcome to the show, Diana Flores. And welcome to the show, Diana. How are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yeah, likewise.
Same.
Honestly, flag football is like a not so secret passion over here on this side of the table.
At 45 years old, I think that ship has sailed. But I swear, if I was even like 37, I'd be like, forget basketball. Get me in the LA Olympics in flag football.
To this day, one of the best days I've ever had in my entire life was my junior year flag football game. I mean, I think I rushed for like 400 yards and I popped off like almost 100-yarder.
You're running back.
Oh, I was running back.
Oh.
And I was torching these seniors. It was like the most fun I've ever had. So I can only imagine what your life is like.
That's
okay. We're gonna get to the real flag football. You.
I know, not us giving our flag football stats from
we
junior
just go
year.
Right into flag football stats. Oh my gosh. No, we're so excited to have you on. You recently published this book, Flag Football for Dummies. Despite my amazing one-day career, I definitely will be reading this book. This is perfect because obviously we love flag football on our show. But this is really the first time we're going to talk about it sort of in depth for our listeners and for Sue. We're going to give a quick primer. So can you describe the game for those who aren't familiar, sort of like what are the biggest differences between American football, sort of as we know it, and flag football?
Wow. Well, first of all, let me tell you that just seeing my baby there, the book in your hands with you girls, like it makes me feel so happy. You don't even know. This has been such a passion project for me just to be able to share a little bit of the love for the game and knowledge. So more people are able to just jump in the game, fall in love with it, learn more about it, and just be part of this movement right now that flag football is having worldwide, not only becoming an Olympic sport for LA28, but now it's just opening so many opportunities and doors for boys and girls to get college scholarships in the United States, in Mexico, and all over the world. So it really makes me happy. That's why I really wanted to put all the tips and tricks and the rules and the little hows and whys starting from the bottom, like how many players are on the field. It's play 5-on-5 and the big differences between football and flag football. Flag football is a non-contact sport. So even if it is very similar to football, I always say that football and flag are like siblings. It's like almost the same but different. So flag football is more about speed, agility, creativity. And one thing I love about the game is that no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter your age, you will find your place on the field. And that's amazing for me. It can be played in co-ed formats, all ages, all boys or all girls. So that's the basics about the game. It's played 5-on-5. And it's on a smaller field than a football field. So it's kind of like easier to catch it up. So yeah, that's the basics a little bit about the game.
Yeah, I love that you bring up just how accessible it is. I have two little nieces. I mean, they're 10 and 12 now, but I've been watching them play sports since they were like 5 and 6. And some sports at those ages are just a little harder.
Mhm.
Yeah, when you get to be like 20s and 30s, they're kind of all the same, and wherever your skill level takes you, it takes you. But what I love about flag football is everybody can have their chance. Everybody can find their place. I think that'll help, especially for girls. Like we have a participation issue in sports. So I really see flag football. I mean, we're kind of joking at the top, but I wish this
Yeah.
existed when I was a kid.
I'm
Like
not
I
joking.
1000% would have been on a team. I would have played. I would have loved it. You're talking about, it's in the Olympics now. The NFL has made a big push. There's going to be men's and women's, boys and girls leagues, all of that good stuff. But I want to hear about how you got started. Tell us your journey. You've been playing since you were, I believe it's 8 years old. So give us a little background on how you discovered it, how you got into it. Like what made you try it out?
So I started when I was young, 8 years old, as you said, here in Mexico City. I started because of my dad. My dad used to play tackle football when he was in college. So he kind of like brought me to this world. Back then, the sport was not popular at all. Football was seen as sport for boys only, flag football, same thing. So we didn't have a lot of opportunities or places or clubs, teams to play at. I was 8 years old, but I had to start playing with girls that were 16 or 17 years old because that was the only opportunity I had. I even remember back then the sport didn't have like a lot of respect, so we were not even able to step on the football field. We had to play at the back field, a dust field. Literally, I remember my coach asking us to bring trash bags to every practice to clean up the space, so we could train there. So just thinking about how things used to be back then, how we had to kind of like fight for a place in this world that made us feel almost like intruders. I grew up wearing men's jerseys on because there were not women's jerseys, the shorts. And I'm sure you girls like went through the same thing. We know all the tips and tricks to make them fit and make them look But
Yeah.
that's why it makes me feel so happy now to see how the sport has evolved and how other girls now can just jump in on the field and be themselves and just like have more opportunities on it. I had to play in an all boys league as well at the age of 14, traveling to the US, again, playing with boys and with girls, but being the only Latina. So representation was a big issue as well. So I think all of those little experiences shaped me to be who I am today as an athlete, as a leader, as a woman of the field, but also it made me realize how important sport is beyond the field.
How did you become a quarterback? Like, what about that position? Because that's a very specific position.
That's
I
what
feel
Sue's interested in.
No, I want to be a wide receiver. So I need to see, I need to
okay.
hear what kind of quarterback
Okay.
Deanna
All
is.
So I started playing quarterback. It was because of my dad. It was because of his influence again. Because, you know, for me at first, I just loved to run around. I just loved to catch balls and to run as fast as I could. But I used to watch a lot of football and flag football games with my dad as well. And he used to be a quarterback when he was young as well. So he knew, of course, more about the position and the game. So I remember he used to make me kind of like analyze the positions beyond like what they were doing, you know, catching the ball or throwing the football. More like, okay, can you guess why she took this decision, or all, you know, like the things behind what is going on in the field. So I think that just caught me. I just fell in love with the strategy behind, with all the leadership behind. And I think it was when I was 9 years old, just a year after I started playing the game, that one day I just got to the field and asked the coach, I really, really want to play quarterback. Can you coach me, please? And I was so lucky that he had so much faith in me. I think he could see just the passion. And I started my journey in this position since then.
Yeah, I'm curious your evolution. We've both had this of going from an athlete who just loves playing. You're 8, you're 9, you're 10 years old. You love it. You just want to run around and be crazy. I remember playing flag football with my sister, 1-on-1 with like a sock in the back of us. You know, your evolution from going from that kid to, you know, you're the NFL's global ambassador for flag football. You're obviously talking about the visibility of the sport. You want it to grow. When did that shift for you?
Oh, when did that shift? So I think it was a process. I started again to realize that this was way bigger than myself. I think at the age of 16 first, when I first became part of the national team, and then starting just my journey representing my country, I could see like how important it was to keep opening those platforms and giving voice and just representing. It was back in 2022, after we won the gold medal at the World Games with my team. It was an amazing accomplishment for all of us. It helped to push flag football forward a lot. I started to work alongside the IFAF as chair of the athletes committee, and with NFL as well and the IOC to push flag football to become an Olympic sport for LA 28. So that's how my journey kind of like started being an ambassador for the game beyond the field. And it has been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot, and I think as experiences passes, I kind of like discover or keep discovering my purpose beyond being an athlete, which is keep representing, keep opening opportunities, and just like putting my efforts and my little, you know, help to make a big change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, you're certainly the face of flag football. So we have to talk about where we saw your face, which was in a Super Bowl feature, the Run With It commercial. That was back in 2023. We're actually going to take a look for those that haven't seen it. So let's check that out.
Is there anyone that can pull your flags?
Well, I'm sure someone can.
They're right here.
What?
We're flags! What did you
I got it. It's all about the sauce.
We gotta run it.
So good.
I love the premise of that. So what was that whole experience like for you? Doing that commercial, be a part of it? Like, how did it come about?
It was crazy. So it's actually a funny story because when I got invited by the NFL to be part of this commercial, like to be honest, I thought I was gonna be part of the commercial. Like I was gonna have like that 1 second in the commercial, and I was so happy about it. I told my parents like,
Yeah, it's always like, am I the commercial or am I like just in the commercial? What's happening here?
so I assumed like I'm gonna be in the commercial, and I was the happiest ever. And it was until after I traveled to LA to shoot the commercial first day that I started to realize like, wait, so this is really I'm gonna be really the start of this commercial, because I remember people from the NFL told me like after knowing my story and after the work we did for like to this Olympic journey and all of that, they were like, okay, your story inspired us to kind of like put this script together and tell your story and many people's story, many women out there stories. So do you want to be part of it? Of course, I said yes. And it was such an amazing experience beyond, like this part of shooting and everything around it, just to meet all the people I met there. Billie Jean King was part of it. Erin Andrews, amazing NFL players were part of it, and so many people on screen and off screen that were committed to make a big impact with this. I think we all knew that this was more about empowerment. This was about breaking barriers, stereotypes, cultural barriers, and that's what this commercial have done until today. So it was definitely one of the best experience ever.
Did you notice?
Super Bowl commercial is like peak commercial, gold medal up there in a Super Bowl.
Did you notice right away a difference after that commercial came out, just in like your profile, but also the sports profile?
Yes, definitely. The visibility that this commercial gave to the sport was amazing. Just a couple hours after this commercial aired, I started receiving a lot of DMs from people from all over the world, like places I couldn't even imagine. Egypt, Morocco, China, Japan, and the list goes on and on, just saying like, wow, I didn't know this sport existed. Or wow, where can I play this game? Wow, I wanted to play this game, but my parents didn't let me because they thought it was for boys. But now we saw you, and they said that we're gonna look for a team nearby. Also, from my fellow Latino community, it was a big thing. It was the first time probably ever that our language was being spoken at a big platform like this. And just that one sentence changed the world for so many people. I had so many texts saying, like my daughter feels now so proud because my first time she saw someone like her, like she heard her language being spoken there. And the next thing she did, she went to school and started teaching Spanish to all her friends, and everybody was asking her now about that because they saw a girl from Mexico, and that just opened and changed the narrative in so many ways. So that's something I still feel so proud about.
Yeah, your impact has been incredible. We've kind of touched on really everything you've essentially accomplished up till now, getting flag football, helping get flag football into the Olympics. You mentioned having to work with the NFL. You mentioned the IOC. So you're having so many impactful moments. I want to hear about what it was like for you. How did it impact you when you finally got, I don't know, was it a call? Was it a text? When you finally learned that this was going to be an Olympic sport?
It made me feel so happy and proud, because just to be able to be part of this process, kind of like behind the scenes, just to see all the people that were involved in this decision, all the people that trusted in the game and really trusted in how this sport has the ability to change lives, made me feel so proud. I remember the night that this happened. This is a long process. For all the people that don't know, it takes months, years, like in so many people. So the day that the IOC finally voted for that, I don't even remember where in the world, but it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, something like that. And I was like just watching on Zoom. And I couldn't hold my tears. I was like texting with some teammates, with some people that were involved in this process as well. We were all crying, cheering from different parts of the world. And I think it was just a dream come true, not only for me, but for all the flag football community. We all know that flag football being there will be a big opportunity, not only to showcase the greatness of the game, but also it will open so many opportunities for the next generations.
Yeah, we don't know you well, but I know that you're not satisfied with what has already been accomplished. You're the global ambassador for flag football for the NFL. We talked about that. Obviously, you have the Olympics coming up, but what do you feel like this sport needs now to really grow at this stage of growth? Like, what's your pie in the sky sort of for the sport in general? But then what do you feel like it really needs right now I mean, the Olympics are a couple years away, but they're like going to happen so quick.
Yeah, they're around the corner. And I think right now, even if the sport has given like big steps, it was recently admitted by NCAA as an emerging sport, which is a big step forward for sure. And it's becoming a sanctioned sport in more states in the United States, and worldwide is just growing. But I think investment for sure. Like, right now, flag football is not a professional sport yet. And we know the NFL has made a big investment on making that happen. And I know many more people are willing to invest on it. And it will, fingers crossed, happen soon, even before the Olympics. So I think that's the next big step. So women like me can make a living from playing the sport we love. And that will just help to keep building the path, for the next generations as well. Because even if we build in the grassroots, that, again, the NFL has done an amazing work on that, and schools and clubs, that's amazing. But if you give these boys and girls a clear path to follow, to know that they can achieve their dreams on the field and off the field as well, that's life-changing. So I think right now is investment in athletes, telling more stories, making idols so people can feel related or see themselves. And that's so important, because that's the only way we can change lives and make other people feel seen and heard.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I have no doubt the Olympics is like gunpowder to any sport or star or movement. There's no doubt that flag football is going to get a huge boost from that. But in the meantime, it will come quick, but we're still, two-ish years away. Walk us through the next, couple of years. What's qualifiers look like? Where are they? What's that process? And what's it like preparing your team to compete for the Olympics?
Yes, so you girls know how this is. For us, is such a new process, because flag football, again, is just making a big jump from being amateur, then being one of the fastest growing sports in the world, being worldwide recognized, to now being Olympics. So for us, the journey already started. We have World Cup this year in I was going to say Brisbane. No, we have World Cup this year in Germany, Düsseldorf, Germany, in August this year. And that's when the process will start, the ranking process for the Olympics. So for the Olympics, only 6 teams are going to be able to make it. So the best 6 teams in the teams. So it's going to be tough to be part of that, the toughest competitions until now. So we are focusing on that. That's the first step. And then it will probably happen a repechage next year. So that's kind of like the big picture on how it's going to happen. But for sure, teams are already training hard. Level has increased in an amazing way in such a short period of time. So it's a challenge, but it's an exciting challenge.
Amazing. Okay, so I'm going a little rogue here. I am curious.
Okay.
Once flag football became a thing, there was a lot of conversation about NFL players and if they would be good flag football players. I know it's on the men's side, but I'm curious if you have any opinions on this.
Yeah, so first of all, I think it's amazing that athletes have the opportunity to represent their countries. First of all, I think it's good for
Very
the
true.
athletes. It's good for the game. It's good for flag football at the end of the day, because it will bring new audiences to the sport and just like grow the fandom. And that's good for the sport at the end. But on the other side, I'm going to say it's not as easy as people think it is. Like, I feel that a lot of people just think that, okay, so you can just grab an NFL player and put it in a flexible field and he will rock. It's not like that. Of course, they are athletes. They are the best at what they do. But flag football, again, and football are different. They require like different abilities, different game management, just to know the rules, just to learn how to control your body in a different way. It's non-contact. We need to remind that. And and other, like, there's a lot of factors there. So do I think an NFL player can be amazing on a flag football field? Yes, with a proper training, with a proper time to prepare for that. So I think it will be very interesting to see what's going to happen. But I also would like to give their flowers to all the flag football players out there that have been bowling for a long time. I think they have done an amazing role to push the game forward, and it would just be amazing for the game to give the opportunity to more athletes to just try themselves and represent their countries on the field.
Only the small
said.
NFL players.
I
None
was
of
going
the
to say
big
they all
ones
have
are
to
going to
lose
make
like 200 pounds.
They got
They're just
only our
big.
littlest, quickest, fastest like punt returners and receivers are going to be able
They're big dudes.
to play flag football.
It actually
There's no
makes
way.
them like super, super quick, I guess. Fast, quick. Because from point A to B, if it's like 5 yards, those
Yeah.
big dudes can move.
Yeah, they can.
Because it's like
yeah.
actual physics.
Yeah,
It's like the
yeah.
power, velocity, force times whatever.
Whoa.
But there's no, like you said, no contact.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point,
That's-
if they're not hitting. Yeah.
What are you
So
doing?
well said, well said. Okay, before we let you go, we like to play a game on our show. It's called Bench Start Cut. Are you familiar?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's very light. It's very easy.
Put you in the hot seat.
I'm like, I don't know what to call these, but here we go.
Great. I'm ready.
Bench Start Cut. A game-winning rush touchdown
Mm-hmm.
that you do.
That's
A game-winning touchdown throw
Mm-hmm.
or a game-winning interception. Which ones are rank them basically?
Ooh, so I'm gonna say first a great touchdown throw. Because I love you
Starting a throw
Yes.
makes sense from
Yeah.
a quarterback.
quarterback.
exactly
QB1 over
feeling
there.
of passing the ball to my teammates. Then I'm gonna say an interception. We love drama, right? So I'm gonna say
I agree.
interception next, and a good touch and run. It's hard, so the top.
Yeah.
It's getting cut.
Well, it's not as good as the throw or the interception. Sorry to our running back here. You got cut.
It was exciting for me, guys.
Oh my God. Deanna, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody, check out her book, Flag Football for Dummies. You got a couple years to get knowledgeable about it, everybody.
Definitely.
But here you go. It's going to help you out. Thank you so much for coming on. This is amazing.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Hope to see you soon.
Just a touch more, a little bit. Just a touch more. Yeah. All right, everybody, you know what time it is. Megan, what do you have a touch more time for this week?
I have a touch more time again and always for the growth of women's sports. Two things. Unrivaled's Long Game is playing off. That's the title of the article. Revenue, reach, and fan demand surge in season 2. While their broadcast numbers are down, all of the other numbers are up. This is kind of what I was talking about last year. And like, they have the opportunity to just do something different. I think they're going to different than the WNBA. I think they're going to capture and have the ability to capture. And it's going to make sense from a business perspective for them to capture different kind of content, whether that's more streaming type stuff. I wonder if eventually they just go to streaming, period. TikTok, social media. Impressions, small, clippable. I'm like, just keep feeding people the snacks. I want to see every like game-winning shot. I want to see like players at the game. There's just a lightness that I think complements the formality of the WNBA season, like every other, league. There's just certain things that has to happen. I think there's a really nice complement there that allows the WNBA to exist at the same time as Unrivaled and to have them not like competing with each other. I feel like at times there's been a little bit of like, well, I'm better and you're better and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, actually, we need it all.
Mhm.
This is great. And it just is once again, feeding demand that people have and giving people more things to consume, fans, growth, sponsorship opportunities, all of that. So I wanted to touch on that. And then also the PWHL is just absolutely booming. U.S. attendance record of 17,228 fans at the New York Sirens and Montreal Victoire game. The Montreal team, guys. You know what I'm talking about. That's a huge crowd. A couple weeks ago, we were here in Seattle watching the Torrent. People love themselves some hockey. They do.
They do.
So yeah, we're booming as we've been booming for many years. But that's what I got to touch more time for. Sue, what do you have to touch more time for?
Well, real quick, if I just add, I feel like we talked about it with Trinity and her contract. We're talking about it now with attendance. We've been talking about it with, ratings, viewership, attendance. It's like we are constantly breaking records. I feel like every week, every month, every year, we're constantly talking about that. So I love that. And reach versus engagement, to kind of piggyback on your Unrivaled. We've always measured like sports leagues, sports teams, athletes with like reach. How many people are they reaching, right?
Mm-hmm.
The NFL gets bigger numbers than the NWSL. But the engagement piece is where women's sports thrives.
Yeah.
And that's to say, like, if 10 people follow Megan Rapinoe, those 10 people are going to be like ride or die. And that doesn't always exist the same in men's sports. And that's where women's sports people need to start evaluating it based on. Right? They're from like a business proposition standpoint. Should I invest? Look at the engagement, because that's where we thrive. And that's what Unrivaled is really proving. I have a touch more time for Marina Mabrey and her crashout jar, which the other night she had her first game since announcing she was going to do a crashout jar. We're going to show you a little montage of her crashouts at the end. But if you haven't seen it, Marina did an amazing little clip where she talked about all of her crashouts. She's basically finding herself. It's like a swear jar. But when she showed up, they had like a crash out like jug. It was like this huge
a
thing.
5-gallon barrel.
It was this huge thing. Which, maybe this needs to extend to other sports. I think Coco Gauff could be putting a little something. See her smash her racket. Have you ever had like just an insane crash out?
Yeah. I got a red card for it.
Yeah, I've had some
no,
nutty
I've
crash
definitely
outs.
had some crash outs. Like, for sure.
So our producers, like I said, made a little montage of Marina's greatest hits. Let's take a look.
I have decided to make a crash out jar. Curse words $1, a scuffle $40. There's only one scuffle, right?
Lisa was blocking everything. Herself, things get a little testy. Heady play by Marina Mabrey.
This is gonna be expensive.
From the bench to come out and grab Courtney Williams.
If I'm reading lips, Marina said, "Stop following me." Or maybe something else.
That was expensive. That was crazy.
I can kill somebody.
I said that in timeout.
Tie it up. Whoa!
Oh. Might need a bigger jar.
And that is why
so funny.
she has a jug. Yeah, I love that she's owning it. I have a quick story.
Do I have any money that I can just
we
add
could definitely put a jar in our house for a lot of other things. You left the lights on. $1.
Oh, that'd be
You
broke.
didn't break the boxes down.
I'd be broke.
$1. No.
Yeah.
So we were in the bubble. So I don't know if this is Marina's like second, third year in the league, whatever it was. We're in the bubble. Maybe her first. We're in the bubble. Something happens. We're playing. She's on the Dallas Wings at the time we're playing them. And my shoe comes off. Like it's a jump ball scenario. So everybody's diving on the floor. My shoe comes off. And there's this moment where I'm standing up now and I go to reach down to pick up my shoe. And I probably get like halfway there. And in that moment, Marina comes in and like her action spoke, oh, I got it. Because she then reached down to pick up the shoe. And I was like, oh, in my head, cool. So I come back up. And then as she gets like halfway down, almost to the shoe, she pulls back up and just starts laughing and walks away. That's like $100 in the jar.
That's so good.
It was obviously in the game. I was like,
That's like a classic,
this little shit. Plus, I'm like, listen, I'm like 40 years old. She's probably like 22. I'm just like, are you fucking? But honestly, looking back, it was hilarious.
Honestly,
it was so funny.
chef's kiss. That was great.
That's what makes her good. It's what makes her tough out there. She is a competitor. Anyways, that's it for our episode.